Hello everyone, this is Vikshan, and exciting news for all iPhone users in the European Union. Starting from March, if your iPhone is running iOS 17.4 or later, you'll have the freedom to use third-party app stores, in addition to Apple's own App Store. This means you'll have more choices when it comes to downloading apps. This change is a response to EU's Digital Markets Act, or the DMA. For more details, check out the articles linked just below the subscribe button. But is this freedom a real win? Apple has been known for its resistance to change, maintaining a tightly controlled ecosystem. However, the DMA is pushing them to adapt. Many developers have expressed their frustration with Apple's reluctance to allow more competition, especially when it comes to installing apps from third-party sources and in-app purchases. And when someone challenges them, Apple takes down their apps. As to what happened to Epic Games, Fortnite has been banned from the iOS App Store for the last several years due to the legal dispute between Apple and Epic Games. It appears that Apple is being reluctantly pulled into this new era. We've seen alternative app stores for iOS like Cydia and Build Store, but Apple has always maintained that they restrict third-party app stores to protect user privacy and security. This is partly true, as sideloading an app usually requires jailbreaking your iPhone. Jailbreaking involves exploiting vulnerabilities in iOS to gain root access, bypassing Apple's security measures and potentially weakening the device's overall security. However, if Apple were to embrace third-party app stores, there would be no need to jailbreak your iPhone. After all, Android users can install apps from third-party stores or the web without having to root their devices. The adoption of the DMA has forced Apple to modify its business model. However, Apple has done so with combative attitude, showing its dissatisfaction with the EU's legislation. This response is largely unsatisfactory and aligns with Apple's history of vigorously defending its practices in legal proceedings and investigations. Apple strongly believes that it alone can safeguard users' security and privacy, as well as drive innovation in these markets. So, will you be able to install any app from any source? Well, it's not that simple. Apple does not like this, not one little bit. Firstly, while Apple is required to allow alternative app stores, it still aims to maintain significant control. The requirements for potential app stores providers are not yet fully defined, but they are expected to be stringent. Apple has an history of creating hurdles to resist change. This approach is likely to continue, and alternative third-party app stores may face significant challenges. Secondly, Apple is mandated to allow sideloading. For those who do not know, sideloading is downloading apps directly from a website. However, Apple has a narrow interpretation of this obligation. According to them, sideloading refers to downloading iOS apps outside of an official app marketplace. In the EU, users will have the option to download alternative marketplaces that offer apps for downloads. This means direct downloads of an app from the web will not be possible, even though it is possible on Android and PCs, including iMacs. Apple argues that sideloading in the EU, due to the DMA changes, will result in a less secure system than the rest of the world. This claim is used to justify the introduction of numerous controls, including the requirement of apps to be notarized. Notarization is a baseline review that applies to all apps, focusing on platform policies for security, privacy, and device integrity. However, if that is the case, it is unclear why notarized apps cannot be downloaded directly from the web. Third, Apple has failed to convince regulators of the necessity of forcing developers to only use Apple's mandatory in-app purchases, or IAP. Now, Article 5 of the DMA makes it illegal, forcing Apple to allow app developers to use an alternative payment service provider, or PSP, or link out to purchase. However, this comes with conditions that may deter developers from using alternative PSPs. Because of several additional points of frictions, like users having to confirm the scale model, users having to log in again on the website, since passing in additional information is disallowed in order to protect your privacy, and users having to enter credit card information as opposed to just paying for an in-app purchase using Face ID or Touch ID. Fourth, the new terms provide little to no benefits for most developers. This is because Apple offers reduced commissions of 10% or 17% for developers using in-app purchases, regardless of the payment processing system selected. A new core technology fee, or CTF, of 50 cents per install over 1 million per year applies regardless of the payment method. Thus, the reduced commissions are small for most developers, especially smaller ones. CTF disproportionately hurts high download, low revenue apps and might be redundant with commission. Reduced commissions are arguably not frowned due to discriminatory treatment and potential double charging. So, alternative app stores face challenges and might not significantly reduce costs for developers. Fifth, the new business terms introduced by Apple are considered burdensome and may not significantly impact the current situation. Developers who rely on in-app purchases and pay large commissions might be inclined to accept these terms to save some money, although the savings depend on the impact of the CTF. Other developers might find the deal unattractive or even disadvantageous compared to existing terms, especially if they can attract users to their web payment platforms without directing them from the app. Also, developers operating globally would need to create different apps within the EU to utilize the alternative payment solutions now offered, despite Apple making these options unappealing. So, here's my verdict. The answer to our question, at least for now, is yes and no. Unless you are Google and decide to bring the Play Store to iOS, Apple has made sure no company dares to publish apps in the EU outside of the App Store. To create an alternative App Store, you have to provide Apple a standby letter of credit from an A-rated financial institution of 1 million euros to establish adequate financial means to guarantee support for your developers and users. Also, the core technology fee makes it impossible. Apple even created a calculator for this. For instance, suppose you are launching your store in which you do not sell digital goods and services, just app distribution. Let's assume you get 5 million installs and we use existing Apple Store terms. In that case, the estimated monthly fees are 0. But those terms won't let you publish a third-party app store. So, let's see what the charges are if you adopt the new terms. What? You've got to be kidding me. That is $181 monthly fee. That is $2 million for running a free app with 5 million installs per year in the EU. You are now bankrupt. You have to remove and delete your app. This applies to any app despite their channel of distribution, and that is not inclusive of other fees. Even if the Epic Games Store is successfully launched and approved by Apple, for each 2 installs it will cost them €1, and for each 2 Fortnite installs another €1. So if they can't make €1 on each 2 players, they will be losing money. Interestingly enough, Due to Apple's notarization process, banned apps like Fortnite might still be blocked in third-party app stores. Imagine not being able to install Fortnite through the Epic Games Store. That is wild. And let's not forget about malicious actors too. Let's say I'm a rival business and created a clone of your game. I want to shut you down. I set up few servers that randomize hardware information and download your game millions of times. You are now out of business. I am no longer a clone. So what does this lead us to? According to me, Apple is not genuinely complying with the DMA. Apple's approach to implementing the DMA seems to do little for users, instead limiting their choices regarding protection. Apple proposed plans are so inconsistent with its obligation under the DMA that the EC officials will have no choice but to act. If the competition law fails to deliver and the DMA is ineffective, it raises the question of what alternatives remain. Apple might have to leave the 27 EU countries market. That's all for today, guys. What are your thoughts on these changes? Be sure to leave them in the comments below. Also, let me know what you want to say next. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a lot magic you can do. Please consider buying me a coffee at coffee.com/vikshan. Remember to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe for more tech content. We are this close to 1K subscribers. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.